All right. So we're starting with Lance. Lance, you're the first person to do this podcast, which is
Exciting.
very appropriate given you're an Aries.
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
So with Lance, we're going to be focusing on Saturn in the ninth Aquarius. All right, let's begin. So sometimes I'm going to ask you guiding questions, and then
Mhm.
kind of as I enter the stream, yeah, you'll see that I'll be generating more visions by myself. So what is your first of all, what do you do for work? Because you said you do night shift.
Yeah, I'm actually a songwriter for a local and semi-regional label. Um, and I also do like TikTok, but I just recently got a job at a gas station close by for extra money. So I do that on the side, but songwriting is my career. Yeah.
For you said a semi-regional label.
Mm-hmm.
What
A
does that
local,
mean?
what's that?
What does that mean?
It's a local label in my hometown, but we do semi-regional work and stuff like that. We have artists and uh I write for that label.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And then what does it mean that you write for the label?
Um
I don't understand anything about your industry, so it's all new to
okay.
me.
Yeah, I basically just get I have a body of work and I have a catalog, and people come through my label for guidance. They can read through my catalog and they can read through other writers' catalogs, and they can commission us after a few meetings to work on a body of or a project with them. Um, so then I write for them after I get to know what they want written, and then I study them and study how they speak and stuff like that, and kind of their voice and what their vision is, and then I try and put that to paper and come back with a song after two meetings, and we either sell it or we don't.
How many people do you work with?
Um, like every time, I have a creative director and a producer that I work pretty tightly with. But other than that, I work remote. And so on a day-to-day basis, I work alone.
Okay, but you work on a team basically to get the full project done from start to finish.
Correct.
Okay, I'm starting to feel the Saturn in Aquarius in your work, especially because Aquarius is working with lots of people in an
Mhm.
organization or also in the city. So, like with the public, with people that
Mhm.
you aren't necessarily close. So, for example, when you said that you have a catalog,
Mhm.
that felt like Saturn in Aquarius because Aquarius is a fixed air sign. So, something that stays like a catalog that people can page through.
Mhm.
Okay, that tells me that you're always like adding to the catalog.
Correct.
Okay, and so I guess the catalog is all of your works compiled from all the people that you worked with and all the songs you've written.
Yeah, there's a section of the catalog which is completely open, bodies of work that I've worked with, so that they can just kind of get a taste of what I do and what I can sound like. And then I also have a separate part of the catalog that's already signed away work. It's like a double chapter. Um, it's kind of like a menu and then a catalog. Yeah.
Okay, so you've worked with many people throughout your career in music writing.
Mm-hmm.
What's the challenge with that?
Hmm. The challenge at first was prioritizing, I don't know, like delegating time, and I had never been my own boss before. Well, so to speak, I'd never been in charge of my own hours. So holding myself accountable to make sure that I was doing everything at the right time and getting everything structured right was a challenge at first. But eventually I found more so that continuing to draw inspiration from people that I don't know personally, it was easier in the beginning and it's developed into this harder thing because I overthink um what these people are actually thinking and what they're actually feeling. Um, yeah.
Okay, the
Does that
ninth
answer
house.
your question?
Yeah, the ninth house is coming in strong now.
Okay.
How people think, the ninth house, perspective, perception, understanding, context, ninth house.
Hmm. Yeah.
And Aquarius again is when you work with people from the public, so you're not necessarily close to them and you don't necessarily have any information about them from before.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm picking up something else. It's about working with people, maybe even other musicians and artists,
Hmm.
and having a hard time to agree on things conceptually, thinking differently. Yeah, having different visions.
Um, yes, that kind of, yeah, that does happen pretty often because everyone has a vision in their head. But what I'm kind of being drawn to is my I'm not sure if this never mind. Sorry. I'm just gonna speak. My boyfriend is in Aquarius stellium. Um and so in Placidus in the ninth house as well. And there has been we've been together about 7 years now, and during a large chunk of the beginning of our relationship, it was there was a lot of miscommunication on how our life was going to look and how we had to develop into people who didn't want to change each other so much. And it took a lot of learning and working with him to conceptualize like what life is going to look like and how I operate with him and how he operates with me.
And was there like a particular subject that was important in that?
A particular subject? No, not really. I feel like I was less emotionally mature and I had a hard time seeing outside of myself and my little bubble. Um, and so I wasn't taking as much accountability and responsibility for my own actions. And I just kind of, and he was being very hard on me about that. And so it
Oh.
caused a lot of conflict with like how we see each other working out and how does that answer your question at all? Or
Yeah, well, I'm feeling his stellium conjunct your Saturn, that he's bringing up all this teaching for you. But you know,
oh
when
yeah.
it's Aquarius for me, there's often other people involved, like
Hmm.
friend groups, for example, or going out to meet people, or social media presence, or
Hmm.
place of living, like city and culture, especially, like being in different groups.
Hmm. Um, when I got with him, um, my family grew immensely. And we first lived with his family. He's a Puerto Rican, and
Uh,
he has a big old Puerto Rican family, um, and they became a big part of my life. I got this huge new community in my life,
uh-huh.
family.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm feeling the huge new community. And
Hmm.
what was it, did you have to because when I imagine that you're entering a Puerto Rican community, they
Hmm.
think different, they talk different, they act different, they're in a different wavelength kind of. And so the way
Totally.
I met you have to kind of learn a lot and also
Hmm.
feel like you're a little distant from that group at first.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm my family is just this like white middle class God-fearing family, and relatively small. And this was the first time that I felt family in this warmth type of way. And I got to learn a lot about Latin culture and Latin of family dynamics and what that felt like. And just Gaining a mother who had like profound wisdom that I had never accessed with my own like mother, and uh brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews, and I was learning from children and I was learning from adults, and through the years there have been all sorts of different dramas and um things going on, people moving in, people moving out, you know, all sorts of stuff. So
Okay, I'm feeling the ninth house very much. All of the learning that you did with these people and how long it took you to kind of get close to them and understand all of
mhm,
them, get to know them, become a part of them. There's something else that flagged for me that you said that you come from a white, God-fearing family. So, was the church community a part of your life?
yeah, my grandparents are pastors.
Okay. So, okay, can you say, do you start to feel the Saturn in the ninth Aquarius in that?
Yeah, I it's part of why I was curious to learn more about this, because I feel it's a massive part of my lessons, all encompassing, like all around my entire life.
Tell me a bit about that. Your grandparents being pastors and being
Mhm,
part of the church. What is that
mhm.
like?
Um, well, it's much different now than what it used to be. I've distanced myself and I've personally deconstructed from organized religion, and when I was younger, it was like much more controlling. I like to explain it like, um in the line before Lion King, when Rafiki's like Simba and he's like, you will be king or whatever. It's not what he was like with me, but they were like, before I even had my own path or my own identity, they were like, pastor, you will be a pastor. And like, I don't even know who I am. I barely have a name. And so constantly being placed into this structure of like, this is what you're going to do, before I even have interests, and then falling out of that, and the drama that caused in family, and then the separation from that, and then the understanding after that, like our healing and how we still operate as a family. It was a crazy mess, but yeah.
Was some of that happening during COVID?
um my okay this is crazy. My dad passed away around COVID. um
Uh-huh.
Me and my boyfriend at the current boyfriend at the time, we actually broke up. I was going like through my Saturn return. Uh,
Exactly. Yes.
yeah, in a 2 week span, my boyfriend broke up with me. My dad died, and then on my dad's funeral landed on what was supposed to be me and my ex's 4 year anniversary,
Uh-huh.
and it was a shit show of emotions. That was the climax, big bang of my Saturn return, and then I got my job.
Mm-hmm. Was it the death of your father also a kind of liberation for you, like religiously, spiritually, philosophically?
Yes. My world was kind of rocked. The closest person I had ever been, or had pass away. I also have this weird thing in my head. I was turning 30. He was 30 when he had me. And so I felt like I was very much like looking through his eyes, different person, but like 30-year-old eyes. And uh I I hmm, yeah, it changed everything. It was such a pivotal moment in my life because I gained a new access to spirituality and connection with um, grief, and processing grief should be, I think, a very spiritual experience, and I got that for sure.
Okay. So do you see that your Saturn return in the ninth, and then Saturn would have moved into Pisces during that period?
Mhm.
And also, being part of a stern, strict, controlling religious community that
Mhm,
decides for you from very early. And then
mhm,
you have to go through the process in life of separating from that community and all that comes with it, right? Because I guess when you're a part of that world, you become so instantiated that you feel like if you leave the church, you're excommunicated.
mhm,
There's nothing more for you, right? So there I feel very strongly the Saturn the ninth. And then I was asking actually about COVID because exactly your Saturn return was at that time. So when Saturn returns, it should be that you begin a totally new chapter with that same subject. So I was thinking, okay, maybe that's around the time that a lot of the deconstruction of religion happened.
mhm. Um, it wasn't so much the deconstruction. Well, like the separation came. Um, the if I'm sensing a level of deconstruction, it's more so like from the way that I behaved and the way that I walked through life. I was a party kid, very social, very flighty, couldn't hold me down, irresponsible, self-destructive, and right after those three little events, I disconnected from everything. I had no boyfriend to go home to, no home to go to, so I was just by myself. I got rid of everything. I quit all of my habits, and I quit all of my friends, and I quit all of my jobs, and I quit everything. And then I started over. And that's the transitional moment from my first life to my second one, where I feel now that in the time from then to now, I've gained, I love myself now, and I like myself, and I think I have a great mind, and I've seen the worth in being what you can get from yourself. So, totally different life, really.
Okay, I'm feeling someone who is becoming really studied in many different concepts, reading from different authors, different fields of research,
Hmm.
but like having a very wide mind, being aware of many cultures, many people, being a historian.
Hmm. Um, so piece of this I owe to my boyfriend, I think, because uh I feel like he was a key player in widening my perspective, um just by teaching me on accountability and um also thinking outside of just myself. I noticed in that time a shift into actually focusing on the world, um, thinking about the history and how those are going to play out in the future, politics, uh, creativity, art, culture, um, yeah, just like everything really blew up for me, and my priorities and interest when they were previously just like my own little bubble in my own life and what I was doing in my life turned into like my interests turned into the world at large and me inside of it.
Okay, so that's the Aquarius, right? The
Mhm,
world at large, everyone
mhm.
else, everyone
Yeah,
together, like, not just me, but the big picture Aquarius,
yeah,
right? And then think
crazy.
about it. Your boyfriend's Aquarius stellium is conjunct your Saturn in the ninth, right? So
Mhm,
he's the one to initiate that process big time.
mhm. Yeah, and do do the I know this isn't a part of what we were saying, but like the nodes, do you not work with the nodes much either?
No, the nodes we can, of course.
Okay, I'm just curious because a part of why I feel like he's so for lack of better words faded, like a teacher in my life is because my north node is in uh
I'm the descendant. Yeah.
Capricorn. Yeah, Capricorn and Cancer. And we have swapped nodes, but we're both like Cancer risings.
Hmm.
And what I offer to him is a lot more emotional intuitive self introspection. And what he offers me is a lot more structure and guidance and accountability and lessons.
Yeah, interesting. He's a Saturn ruled person, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Aquarius stellium. You're a Mars ruled person, Sun in Aries, or you could say Moon ruled because you're Cancer rising. But
Mhm.
I feel that differ also when you were saying earlier how you were uncontrollable and just doing whatever,
Mhm.
not thinking about consequence, right? So I feel the Aries Sun very much,
Mhm. Yep.
and I feel his tempering Aquarius presence. Aquarius also being the one to be interested in well-being of all people.
Mhm.
I was feeling also like film, especially in the style of documentary
Hmm.
or like interviews of people and what they had gone through, like Auschwitz or something comes up.
Mhm. Um, yeah, I've been really interested. I'm an artist in a lot of different ways. But I do find really find a lot of beauty in uh like I'm a writer, but I'm a singer and I'm a musician. But I really like to see that made into like process that into a literal vision. So film, it's taken a new place in my life, a new standing in my life, just kind of like thinking on how that is played out in film.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, and I feel like a cinematic world as well, like something that
yeah,
you're constructing.
yeah, oh yeah. Um, I have just with my new resources and stuff like that, working with a label, I've been learning how to produce, like actually build music.
Yeah.
Um, and I just finished just after like 4 or 5 years, like six bodies of like work to make into one. And I just finished and it's like my whole journey of like making that, learning how to like create music, out of nothing. So
Okay. There I feel again, and I'm getting like sound engineering
mhm. Yeah, that sounds.
and also working with very complex music systems, like using multiple instruments or all
Mhm,
of the different technologies that are available in music, different software, different programs, working and learning from different people as well, like having
mhm.
mentors.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely rings true because there are like so many different programs and there's no right or wrong way to do anything. And you'll find like with a lot of teachers, there are teachers who teach you like they highlight on different things. And so I've worked with quite a few people and I have like kind of been given this like endless amount of options of like tools you can use. But I also learned a lot too, like because I am a musician as well. So I like play piano and I play harp.
Mm,
So I can like integrate those into that, but I can also like record random sounds and I can sample things and I can like draw from the world. Um,
okay. Do you hear the ninth house? Because the ninth house is for competence, for being skilled, for learning how something works.
mhm,
Right? Aquarius is an air sign, so think about music,
mhm.
sound
Yeah,
design.
it's interesting you say that because like I've always been like even from the church, that's where I learned piano. That there were that's so it's like they were like if oh, okay, well if you don't want to be a pastor, well you just take the music section of the church, and you'll still be involved. And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess, until that wasn't okay with me anymore. But music has been a constant my entire life. And but not until because I got my signed my contract for the label to be a writer in 2021.
Yes, during your
So
Saturn return.
yeah, so like everything culminated into that. And then from there, just new things exploded, new ways in which I can, and it does feel like I'm being guided to master a whole bunch of different crazy things within it. Because it was like I was always a pianist, and then I was always a pianist and a singer, and then I was like a writer, and I was those three things for like so long, just those three things, and kind of exploring in just those three worlds. And then now I just have like a crazy amount of like focal points and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Do you hear the ninth house? The house of
Hmm.
learning, expansion, growth, understanding, competence, mastery,
Hmm. And
right?
it
So,
would come right around then for sure.
okay, good. Let's pause here for today.
Okay.
So, what do you think? Do you feel like you are a little bit closer to Saturn?
Yeah, I am. And I've been thinking about this a lot just recently, like even just like the past like 3 or 4 days. Um there's been like some I've noticed on TikTok some just like Saturn talk and stuff, and I'm like, oh well, Saturn is definitely something that I feel like I should be aware of. And like I don't know, because karma and stuff, But um
Do you see how Saturn lives in your life? Right? Because everything that we talked about was basically that Saturn placement.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really connected it so like because like with my like music and stuff like that, and like I have a Leo moon and an Aries sun and like a Pisces and Mercury, and all that. Like I always kind of like thought like, oh, writer, Pisces, Mercury. Like I have a hard time getting my thoughts into like like I have a hard time vocalizing that, but I have an excellent way of writing it. Like my writing s- surpasses my speech. So I have always kind of like associated my art stuff with that area. Never really thought my Saturn played much of a part in it, and it is interesting because it's been such a like constant in how we connected it from thing to thing to thing to thing to now. Yeah. It's interesting. It really it makes me wonder um if I've always focused on like something that's a core part of my life, like artistry and music, and I've always associated it with this part of my chart, and it was also always this part of my chart. What other things that I must be associating with certain parts of my chart that are all encompassing?
Okay, I'll give you one more example. Just now, you said that it's hard for you to like get your
Mhm.
words out, but you can. So there, I feel your moon in Leo opposite your Saturn. It
Okay.
comes natural for you to express, but to translate the complex thoughts is very hard to do in the moment.
Yeah,
And I
it
hear that
really.
a kind of stutter sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't worry, like I don't take offense to it at all. But I've always felt like very misunderstood. People are always just kind of like, "Oh, that's just Lance or whatever," and felt very like disconnected from people because a lot of people it takes a lot of people to get to know me before they can actually understand the ways that I speak and also the way that my mind works with how I speak. It's very vague and
So again, the
very.
Saturn in Aquarius. Aquarius is all the people that you're meeting and how they respond to. Aquarius is like the audience, the friends,
Mhm.
the people in the public, right?
Mhm.
Opposite your Leo moon. They just say,
Mhm.
"Oh, it's just Lance," but they don't really know you, right? So having the consistent experience that you're
Mhm.
expressing something and other people don't get it or they misinterpret. Leo moon opposite Saturn in Aquarius.
That's fascinating.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, it does. I
Okay.
love astrology and the way that it just like pieces things. It's just like this slow, lifelong puzzle. Just I love that.
Okay. Very good. I'm gonna stop recording now.
Okay.
So to anyone, see you next time.
See you next time.
Lance and I are signing out.